Welcome back, Guardians, to another weapon guide. Today we're going to take a look at one of the new SMGs that came out with the Dawning. Today we're going to take a look at the Cold Front. So the Cold Front is an aggressive frame SMG, which in my opinion isn't really that great at all. It's pretty terrible in PvP actually. It has some potential in PvE, but that's only due to a bug where one perk is allowed on it, which isn't supposed to be allowed thanks to Bungie messing something up in the game code, and that perk being Dragonfly. But overall, the stats on this gun is fairly terrible. It has an alright amount of range, an alright amount of handling. Everything else is just blown out of the window. Stability and reload speed and impact are all very low. The aim assist is also very low. Zoom, well, it's SMG, so it's very low, and that's to be expected, and that's a good thing. But overall, I wouldn't say that this, compared to other SMGs in the game, which there really aren't many, is something to be celebrated. Sure, it's a new SMG, it's a new kinetic SMG, but it's not a good new kinetic SMG. So without further ado, let's take a look at the perks I would actually use with this to turn it from bad to overall decent, because there are some good PvE perks, believe it or not. To start off with, well, we have a lot of range, but we have really low stability, we have really low reload speed. So if you want to make this gun viable in PvE and make it feel fun to use, I would highly recommend more stability, and I would highly recommend more reload speed to make it feel like it's actually fast to use in encounters. So as usual, I would actually still start with small bore. The reason why I always go with small bore is because it gives you a fair amount of more stats than any other barrel, making it just overall too good to pass out on. If you're on console, however, I would probably recommend getting polygonal rifling, since it just flat out gives you more stability. For the second tier, well, no question about it, I would go with tactical mag. It gives you faster reload speed, a little more bullets in the magazine, and gives you more stability. What else do you want for this gun? If you've listened to anything I've said so far, you want stability, you want reload speed, so this fits perfectly into that frame. For the third tier, well, if you like to save all your abilities, then I would go with Surplus. Surplus, if you can manage to get at least 2 abilities up at all times, is amazing. It's also, unfortunately, the only perk that increases reload speed and stability in this tier. Otherwise, I would say that if you want more recoil reduction, then dynamic sway reduction could actually be good. But if you want more ammo, then subsistence could also be good. So this kind of depends on your own playstyle. If you play conservatively with your abilities and you don't really use them, then Surplus is going to be the way to go. If you use your abilities at all times, then dynamic sway reduction might be better to get your gun more stable, especially on consoles. But if you feel you just want to spray and pray with this gun, then subsistence might be your only option here. Finally, for the fourth and final tier, it has some decent perks, but I'm not really that impressed. You could go with Rampage, but I would really avoid Rampage, because if you don't have Rampage spec, then Rampage is fairly terrible, especially with this SMG. You barely manage to get a ×3 stack with it, and if you do, you're going to have to reload, and during that time you have like a small time frame of 1 second, a half second to get the next kill before Rampage resets, and that's just, it's not satisfying to play with. And if you're gonna run with Rampage spec, then you basically just lose the ability to choose any mod you want for that weapon. The thing that's interesting with this gun, however, is Dragonfly. Dragonfly on a kinetic weapon isn't supposed to happen, but for some reason Bungie messed up and it made Dragonfly available for this gun. So if for any reason at all to get this gun, it would be for Dragonfly. So if you haven't gotten this gun, try and get it with Dragonfly, and hope Bungie doesn't retroactively fix Dragonfly on everyone who's gotten the weapon already. I mean, they have done it before with, say, Isanaga's Burden, where they basically changed one mod into no distractions, so I don't see why they couldn't go back and change it on weapons people have already gotten. Otherwise, I would go for either One for All or Surrounded. One for All is really good if you can utilize it properly. It gives you a nice damage boost and it's really easy to activate. Meanwhile, Surrounded is just overall nice to have. Since it's an SMG, you're gonna be in the fray, and that means you're gonna get bonus damage probably a lot of the times with Surrounded. So it's kind of a pick your own poison with this gun. There's a lot of things to customize and there's a lot of things that affect your playstyle. But personally, if I would decide what I want to go with, I would go with small bore, tac mag, dynamic sway, and Dragonfly. Just because of Dragonfly being on a kinetic. Otherwise, I would go with dynamic sway and probably Surrounded or One for All. For PvP, I really don't want to cover this for PvP. I hate SMGs in PvP, especially in the meta that we have today. There's too many other good weapons compared to this one. But if you want to use this for PvP, then I guess you want to have more range, meaning you're probably going to go with hammer forged rifling, accurized rounds, dynamic sway, and finally you're going to go for either unrelenting or you're going to go for Rampage. There really isn't that many other options for this gun. I'm really disappointed that it's not better than it is, but there you have it, Guardians. The cold front in all its glory and all its, I don't know, decentness. I hope you enjoyed the guide, and let me know, what do you think about the cold front? Do you believe I'm wrong with this gun? Let me know your opinions and your comments down below. And as always, if you did enjoy the video, then liking the video and subscribing to the channel is a great way to stay up to date on all the latest uploads. It's also a great way to support the channel itself. And with that being said, I want to wish you the very best of your day, and I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful new year. This is, as always, TCSpectre, signing off.